Today's best music.
Magic 89.9.
What's going on, guys? For today's best music, Magic 89.9. This is Ryan Rosella from the show One for the Road, and I am joined today by the singer, songwriter, and proud dog parent. So I'm here with Sasha Sloan, guys. What's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you?
I talked to you off air, and I just woke up, and I think are you about to sleep?
Well, my sleep schedule's a little funky because of this year, but it's nighttime here. Yeah, it's like 7:20ish.
Mm-hmm. All right. So like you're about to have dinner. That's what's up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And a drink.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? So
Exactly.
So where are you right now? I just want to know.
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay. And I know
Yeah.
Nashville's like it's a really nice place for music and stuff, right? Is that why you're there, or are you from there?
No, I'm from Boston, and I lived in LA for the past 7 years. And during the pandemic, things got so crazy there, and my boyfriend and I were like, let's just move to Nashville. So we moved here a couple months ago and just picked up our bags and left.
Oh, so it was like a spur of the moment thing. You didn't really plan it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And your dog, of course. You brought your dog with you.
Yes, as you said, I'm a bit of a crazy dog mom. I'm obsessed with my dog. I've never been a dog person, but I have changed my ways.
All right, so let's talk more about your music. I want to talk about your songwriting, your career so far, but I want to know more about you first. So can you tell me about your first musical memory, like maybe the first ever time that music made an impact on your life?
My first musical memory, I think I remember loving Somewhere Over the Rainbow. The Wizard of Oz was like my all-time favorite movie. And that was like, I couldn't stop singing that song. And I think my mom knew she was doomed from that moment on. And the rest is history, I guess.
So from an early age, like that was, I assume you were like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was really young. I've always just been singing. Yeah, I've been doing music my whole life, and I never really thought I was doing it. It's just like more of a thing where I couldn't stop doing it. Yeah.
So like, was there a point where you thought about like, oh, I can make this into a career, or was it always like a goal that you strive towards?
Really, I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, but that's only because it was the only school I could get into. I wasn't a great student, we'll say. And when I was at school for music, I wanted to go into music business. Because I don't know, I never thought that I could be an artist or a songwriter. I just didn't think I like had it in me to do it. So no, it was never like a dream of mine, but maybe when I was like 10. But as a jaded teenager, I was like, no.
That's really interesting to me that you said like it was the only school that you could get into. Because me, the Berkeley was my dream school when I was in high school. Because John Mayer went to that school. All these amazing artists, and so I just kind of want to know like how did you get into music in the first place? Was it Wizard of Oz, or was there a like a family thing that got you into music?
Well, my mom bought a piano, like a really crappy one, and it was in our living room, and I started taking piano lessons. And I think it started with the piano lessons because I'll come home and basically throw my homework away and just write my own songs on the piano, and became a horrible piano player, but it got me into songwriting and singing. And I think that's kind of what sparked it all and like created my fascination with songwriting.
So it started from the piano, and then you got into singing after that, or did you always sing first?
Yeah, I think I sang first, and then the piano came, and then they like have been tied ever since.
Right. So when you were a kid, what kind of music did you listen to growing up? Was it more of stuff like Wizard of Oz, more musical stuff, or more pop stuff also?
I mean, I was a really nerdy kid. I'm still kind of nerdy, but I loved musicals like Jesus Christ Superstar, Evita, Grease, all that stuff. And I listened to more like folk Americana music, like Brandy Carlisle, Eva Cassidy. And I kind of like, I hated pop music. I was a total snob, and my best friend was always listening to like Justin Bieber and One Direction. And I was like, you're a sellout. And obviously now I'm obsessed with them.
Yes.
So I grew to love pop music. Yeah, I love pop music now.
So would you say that the Americana stuff was your biggest influence? I mean, is your biggest influence in your music now, or is it more of the pop stuff now that you came to grow to love later in your life?
I think it flipped for a second. Like when I moved out to LA and started writing songs, I became obsessed with pop music, and I still am, but I think my Americana side of me is starting to creep back in. And I'm starting to write songs for the new album. And a lot of Americana is starting to shine through. So I think I'm definitely back more to my roots now, but I will never not be in love with pop music.
Right. And I'm sure the kid inside you loves that you're back into Americana, right?
Yes. No, yeah, my heart is very happy right now.
Right. So you talked a bit about your songwriting, and obviously you've co-written songs for a bunch of artists. And for our listeners who might not know, she co-wrote "Never Be the Same" by Camila Cabello, "Through These Tears" with Lainey, "Just Hold On" with Steve Aoki and Louis Tomlinson, just to name a few. So I want to ask, how different is it writing a song for yourself compared to writing it for other artists?
Yeah, I guess the only real difference is when it's for me, it's my story. And when it's for an artist, I'm just there to help them tell their story. And both are equally as fun. Honestly, sometimes I prefer writing for other people or with other people because I get so sick of myself. I'm like, I don't know what to say anymore. Tell me what you're going through. And yeah, they're both equally as fun and equally as rewarding, which is really cool.
Yeah, and you said that sometimes you don't know what to say anymore about yourself. So this leads into my next question, and I want to ask this for all those aspiring songwriters out there. So what do you do when you're not inspired? I know like it's super easy to write a song when you're inspired, but when you're not, it's just kind of a blank. So what do you do?
It depends on the day. Like the worst thing is like it's actually happened to me right now. I'm in a very uninspired time. And I think it's because I haven't left my house in a year, and also I haven't seen people. I've been very isolated, which I think a lot of people have been. And I think that started to bleed into my inspiration, we can say. So, there's like a 50-50 chance. Like, I'm like, okay, do I just take today off and not write and just take a break, or do I go and try to write a song? Because if I go and try to write a song and it's bad, I feel even worse about myself.
Right.
But if it's good, then I have something. So I've just been trying to force myself. And usually I do end up writing something every day because I get so bored.
Right. So for you, like songwriting is a thing that you feel like you have to do. Like it just comes out. It's not something that you think about like, oh, I have to write a song today.
Yeah, it depends. It's weird because now it's how I make a living, right? So before, it was one of those like, oh, I love music, I have to do this right now. But honestly, sometimes it feels like a job. Like sometimes I'm in a studio, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this today. But I think that's like anything.
Right. And a lot of people say that when you do what you love, you never have to work a day in your life. But that's honestly a little wrong, because even if you love what you're doing, just the fact that you're made to do it every day, it's
Yeah.
not all that it's made up to be, right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about your song. It's called "Is It Just Me?" And I want to tell you first that no, it's not just you. Everything you talked about, I really related to, and a lot of people did as well. You talked about things that people tried to avoid talking about, but you did it in such a catchy way. So I want to ask you, what was that process like? Did you start with the chord progression, or did you have the idea of talking about, like stuff that people don't want to talk about first?
Yeah, so I'm obsessed with Reddit, and there's this subreddit called Unpopular Opinion that I love. And so I always keep titles written down. And so I wrote Unpopular Opinion down as a title idea. And it was actually my first Zoom session ever. This was like early pandemic. And I was like, I have this idea called Unpopular Opinion. And then it kind of like, we started writing lyrics over Zoom. It's kind of hard to like do anything musical because it never lines
Right.
up. So you end up just kind of writing like slam poetry. So it was like all lyric based. And it eventually turned into Is It Just Me? And yeah, then my producer, who I live with because he's my boyfriend, which is really cringy, but it is what it is. He started playing like the riff, which you can hear in the beginning of the song and throughout. And then, yeah, it kind of all just came together.
So you wrote the song, you released it, and then Charlie Puth tells you that he wants to be in it. So like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I know, pretty crazy. So I've met Charlie before, like we've hung out a couple times, and I'm obviously like a huge fan of his, and
who isn't, right?
I know it's hard not to be. He's insanely talented. And he commented on my post about the song, and he was like, "These lyrics are so good," or something. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like I was already psyched enough that he just commented that he liked it, and then yeah, he somehow we got in touch, and he was like, "I'd love to do a remix of this song," and next thing you know, he's sending me versions with his voice on it, and I'm like trying to respond and be cool, but like I'm definitely not being cool. And
like inside you're fangirling, and it's like
I was just like, cool, dude. And inside I was like, this is so sick. And yeah, and then from there it kind of just all came together, and he was down to put it out, and yeah, it was like a nice cherry on top to releasing my album.
Right. That's so cool. And if you guys who are listening don't know, Charlie Puth is a huge fan of the show Friends. And he was actually quizzed by Courtney Cox, who plays Monica Geller on the show. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because on the song, there's a lyric that goes, "Weddings are outdated. The show Friends was overrated." So did Charlie say anything at all about this, or did he just let us slip?
He never mentioned it. He probably doesn't like that lyric. It might be the one lyric he doesn't like.
I find it so funny that on the music video of the song, no one talks about like how you talked about politics or religion, but because you mentioned that Friends was overrated, people were up in arms, man.
Apparently that's like the most controversial thing you can ever say.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, but I think that just kind of brings your point, like the fact that people are so mad that you even talked about it in a sort of negative way means it is kind of overrated. Right?
Look, I'm done commenting on that because I feel like I've been attacked enough.
Right.
No, but I get it because that's just my opinion. But if someone said that about The Office, I would get pretty defensive. So I understand where people are coming from.
Okay. So last point about Charlie, I guess. Like he says that he only ever sings on songs that he wished he wrote. So what's one song that you wish you wrote?
Oh my God. I actually was just having this debate with my boyfriend. I was like, if you could write any song. I don't know. There's so many good songs.
Like just maybe off the top of your head, like what's one that you always think that, I wish I wrote the song?
I think it would be an ABBA song. I don't know. I'm horrible at this question. Halo by Beyonce. It's a great song.
Okay, so Halo or ABBA, both great artists, and it's almost Christmas time, right? And you released a Christmas song, and
oh yeah, I did.
It's called "I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus," and this song has been covered by so many artists already. The Ronettes, Amy Winehouse, even RuPaul has one. His version is "I Saw Daddy Kissing Santa Claus." So how did you make this your own, despite all these other artists covering it?
Well, my boyfriend and I we made it together. He produced it, and we were definitely drinking while we made this. That's why it gets a little weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard because I was like, how do I make a Christmas song that doesn't sound like all the other versions?
Yeah.
And I don't really like sleigh bell sounds and like traditional Christmas sounds. So I was like, let's try to not use anything traditional sounding, other than the the lyrics and melody and see what happens. And so we kind of took it like down this weird direction, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it works. It works. And I think Christmas songs they're early a product of their time. If you think about Christmas songs of the past, like whether it was released in the 40s, you really think that, it sounds like the 40s or maybe like the NSYNC song. It sounds like the boy band era. And now we have a 2020 Christmas song. And now, maybe even if the pandemic Christmas is a little weird, we can always remember it.
There you go. I like that.
Right. It's always nice to have a good take on things, right?
Exactly.
Even when things are bad. So I want to ask you, can you give us maybe advice you would give yourself for when you started writing songs when you were like 10, 11?
Yes. This is advice that I'm going to give my present self as well. You're going to have to write hundreds, if not thousands of songs to get a couple good ones. And that's okay, because that's how it works for everyone. Don't be precious about anything. Take constructive criticism. No one's trying to hurt your feelings. Don't read YouTube comments. Just the people around you are trying to help you. And just keep going. Like, you're going to eventually write enough bad songs that there will be a good one in there, and it's going to make you feel really good.
Yeah, I think that advice works for anyone, not just necessarily music. If you want to do anything, you want to be, a YouTuber, an actor, anything, like people really say the worst things about you, and you just have to keep going and keep doing it, right?
So true. Yeah. I forget who told me this, but someone was like, once people start being mean online to you, it means that more people are seeing you, which is good.
Right. Yeah, it means you kind of made it.
In the beginning, I'm pretty sure my mom just made like a bunch of different accounts and was commenting nice things. So,
as everyone's mom does. So we're almost out of here. I have one last question for you, and it's just a quick message for all your Filipino fans.
Hey guys, stay safe, stay sane. I'm going to try to do the same thing. And thank you so much for listening to my music. I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys.
All right. So thank you so much, Sasha, for being here. I hope you have a fun time after this. I know you'll be drinking, so I know you will. So please vote for her song. It's called Is It Just Me on our radio station at Magic 89.9. Again, she is Sasha Sloan. My name is Ryan Rosella, and we are today's best music, Magic 89.9.